is a function. We have A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is a set of ordered pairs. Second, we have negative 2, 4, negative 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 4. And then C, we have 1, 5, 2, 7, 1, 9, and 3, 11. You can give your answers via chat box. Okay, I received already the answers of Hans, Tracy, Nicole. Okay. Thank you. Si, sir. Basa gali ali o sorry. After periodic pwede sila man deploy para man meet I'll teach me. Sorry. Okay. So I do have similar answer, which is letter A only. Okay, let's find out. The correct answer is yun na nagpapang ayun, is both A and B. Okay? How do we know if we have a given set of ordered pairs? How do we know if it is a function or not? First, we only have to check our x-coordinates. The x-coordinates are the first numbers for every parenthesis. So, you have your ordered pair, x and y. So, tingnan nyo lang yung mga x-coordinates nyo. If there is no x-coordinate that has been used more than once, then that set of ordered pairs is represents a function. So first we have 2, 4, 5, and 7. There is no x coordinate that are used more than once. So that makes it a function. If you will check also letter B, we have negative 2, negative 1, positive 1, and positive 2. Again, no first coordinate or x coordinate that has been utilized twice. So that still makes it a function. You might be wondering, kasi ito sa 1 and 1, ma'am, inuulit nga yan. So okay lang sa y coordinate inuulit, pero not sa x coordinate. And you cannot also compare x and y coordinates here. Lahat lang dapat ng mga x coordinates ang titingnan nyo. On the third one, we have option C. We have 1, 2, then we have another 1, and then 3. So obviously, 1 here has been repeatedly used or was used twice in the first coordinate. So that makes it not a function. So both A and B is a function except for C. So that was a answers are also correct. Number 2, in the following mapping diagrams, which describes a function? Is it A or B? Thank you, Tracy, for writing down the item number. Okay. Definitely, letter A is the correct one. So take note that when we are checking on the mapping diagrams, we have to check the type of relation that we are having here. If it is one-to-one or many-to-one, then it is a function. But if it is a one-to-many, then it is not a function, just like in letter B. In the inputs, we have a single input or one input which is mapped to many outputs. So that makes the mapping diagram not a function. However, what if the mapping diagram looks like this? Are we going to consider this as a function or not? Is it considered a function or not? Okay, answers have been read. Unfortunately, none of you has the correct answer. It is considered not a function. Simply because if you will revisit the definition of a function must consist of all elements under input that must have a corresponding output, or all first elements must have its output. It's okay for an output that is not mapped in the input, but for every element in the input, it should have a corresponding, or it should be mapped to a corresponding output. Now, what makes this mapping diagram not a function based on its definition? What's the obvious reason? Hmm? Anyone? You can unmute your microphone if you. One input doesn't have an output. Yes, and that is the input, the element which is letter C. That's correct, Chainwell. Because walang output si C. Correct din, Hans? Wala yung C Fatima Rashid. Okay. So that makes it clear now. Which graph describes a function? Is it the first graph A, graph B, or graph C? Okay, I have received common answers again, and I think this time around you got the correct answer. Before you do that, before we reveal the correct answer, you have the correct answer na nga. So, as we continue the discussion, what line of tests are we checking on it here? Anong klaseng line test ang ginagamit? Yes, Roshin, it's a vertical line test. So the y-axis itself is already a vertical line. Looking at your y-axis, in graph A, it's obvious that the the y-axis passes through two distinct points on the graph, so that makes it not a function. Same as for letter B, you have your hyperbola here. So again, the vertical line passes through two distinct points, so making the graph not a function. And letter C, looking at your vertical line, it will pass through an exactly one point. So that makes the graph a function. Next, which equation is not a function? We are not yet discussing about one-to-one function. We are just on the uh, general definition of a function. So which equation is not a function here? Okay, I am receiving also common answers from everyone. So what makes A not a function? Most of your answers is A. What makes A not a function? Negative ang ano, of the exponent. Okay. Because of the existence of the negative exponent. However, we forgot to note also that a function, the y variable, must never be raised to the power of 2. 'Di ba? So in this case, the y variable is equivalent to f of x. So, if for letter B, f of x, which is equal to the square root of 2x plus 5, simplifying it, that is also equivalent to y, which is equal to the square root of 2x plus 5. And if we extract the square root, that will make our y variable a perfect square, no? Or y variable which is raised to the power of 2 for a while. So, for a while lang po ha, sakit lang. Okay, so going back, just to show you a proof. Allah, nakita ng sunod. Okay. Hmm. In a function, f of x is equivalent to y. And the function given in number 2, we have there the square root of 2x plus 5 ba yun? And that could be equated to y equals to the square root of 2x plus 5. In that sense, if we are to extract the square root symbol, you need to square the equation. So that will give us y squared, which is equal to 2x plus 5. The mere existence of the exponent 2 in the y variable will make already the given equation not a function. So aside from checking a given function which is not a polynomial because of the existence of a negative exponent, also you need to check if your y variable is not raised to the power of 2. Otherwise, it will give us a given expression that is not a function. Questions? Meron pa? Okay. So, sabi ko kanina, there are parts of the exam which requires you to solve. So, this is an example of it. Evaluate f of negative 3 in the function f of x is equal to the absolute value of x squared plus 7x minus 10. You can work on that and show your answers on the chat box. So you need to practice also solving as fast as you could because the exam is time bounded and there are 15 questions that require solution. Hala, are you recording the session? Okay. Time. Ah, no one recorded it. Okay, do we have already answers? Napatay na tayo kay Jana. Nag-request si Jana na i-record ang session. I need to see the solution, Tracy. It's for the purpose of discussion proper. Kasi nga, that item requires you to show your solution on the test paper itself. Okay, well done, Chingwal. So I think Jamewell have provided us with the correct answer. You were asked again to solve for f of negative 3 from the given function f of x, which is the absolute value of x squared plus 7x minus 10. So we will substitute every x variable with the numerical value, which is negative 3. So you will have now the absolute value of negative 3 squared. I am still receiving some answers. Negative 3 squares plus 7 times negative 3 minus 10. Close it with an absolute value symbol. Now, whenever you are squaring, whether it is positive or negative, the answer is always positive. And positive 7 minus 3 should be negative 21 minus 10. I think that was the mistake of Tracy there. Positive 7 times negative 3 is a negative 21, not a positive 1. Okay. Okay, other answers are correct already. Then, if you will perform the indicated operation, that will give you an absolute value of negative 22. That is not yet your final answer because you have to omit this absolute value. And when you take the absolute value of a number, if it is positive, it will always be positive. If it is negative, it will still give us a positive value. So that will give us 22 as the final answer. So I think you got it already correct. Let's proceed to the next given. Should you were asked to evaluate f of 4 in the function whose function given f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 6x minus 12 all over x minus 2. Delayed pala sa akin ang mga answers. Yes, Almira, noted. Milan Marcelino also, Kaina, Dash, then Miles. Okay, so let's work now to the next example. Habol kasi Hans. Again, we are now working on the next example, please. Mm. Medyo natatagalan. Take note, limited lang ang time during exam. Hmm. Sabay-sabay dumating ang mga sagot. Alright. Okay. Good, very good. Okay, this time around, I think I don't have to show the correct solution since the first five students who have presented their answers are all correct. Well done. Okay, very good. Habol pa si Albert. Correct din. Okay, so you are ready with this kind of question. Now, for the next item, I want you to challenge yourself. We will give, there is an item on my exam of which given two functions lang, doon nyo lang ibabase yung mga sagot nyo. Okay? Given the two functions, you will be performing different operations. Of course, there are choices for the answers, but you have to show the solution. So, I want you to time your manner of solving kasi this will compose of 5 items. I think sa test paper ko, parang item number 11, for items number 11 to 15. So, items number 11 and to 15, all you have to do is to perform the operations on the two given functions. So, silang dalawa lang paulit-ulit nyong i paulit-ulit nyong gagamitin as functions. So, you have to perform the different operations on the function and then after 10 minutes, try natin, within 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, kahit ano lang yung natapos nyo, isubmit nyo sa chat box because that will be recorded. Okay? Your solution. So, you have to challenge yourself that within 10 minutes, natapos nyo na yung items 11 to 15 or less than 10 minutes. Okay? So, these are the two functions, but these are not the two functions provided sa exam. So, example, f of x is equal to x plus 5 and g of x is equal to x squared plus 8x plus 15. You are to evaluate the different functions. Siguro, evaluate f plus g of x, number 11, ganon. Number 12, find the difference of f minus g of x. And then number 13, find f times g of x, ganon. And then you have to provide your solution. So, whatever operation, hanggang saan lang nyo na abutan, you have to submit that within 10 minutes. And it's already 2:48 on my time. Timer starts now. Should you finish earlier, you are free to submit it or post it sa chat box. 7 more minutes.